Hey y'all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. And today we are going to do a recap of the movie The Reading. And of course, if you have not watched the film, this video will be filled with spoilers. So if you want to go watch the video first, then come back here, feel free. Or if you already watched it, please comment down below. What do you think the ending was all about? If you watched it all the way to the end, even that clip after the credits. Also, speaking of The Reading, I do not give the readings. I do not give any type of readings. If you book a reading through my website, you will see that it is connected to the Baron's website. I have his information down below, but BlaqueWitchYaya herself does not do readings, and I do not DM people on Instagram. So if you got a DM from a page that looks like BlaqueWitchYaya, it wasn't this one. I don't know who that one is, but it sure enough ain't this one. Like, it's getting frustrating, the amount of fake pages. I'm really about to throw the app in this pot, but it's not me, okay? So make sure if you already spent your money on a reading, just call your bank, because it wasn't me. All monetary transactions are done on my website, BlaqueWitchYaya.com, which is where you can find your crystal dry rub, which is an all-in-one crystal cleanser filled with different herbs, crystals, and powders that are utilized to cleanse your crystals. If you want to keep them charged while you're not wearing them, you want to throw a little sprinkle in your jewelry box where you keep all your crystal necklaces or your raw crystals that you can also get from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. If you're about to do a nice little ritual in the moon, sprinkle some of this around your crystal and watch magic happen. So Emma was the only survivor, barely survived a horrible home invasion. The keys were left inside the door of her home. Like 4 or 5 different robbers came in and they just touched base on everyone. They even killed the little baby while the baby was in the tub. Why was a baby in the tub by himself? Not sure, but that's what happened. Killed the husband, killed the 2 daughters. And so about a year later, she finally had the strength to actually speak on the situation. She did an interview where she shared some of the encounters, and that she also wrote a book on the entire invasion as well. And during the interview, you can kind of hear how her speech changed from the beginning of the movie, where she's like, "Oh, hello, my sweet babies. Mama love you so much. Pinky bear swear." All that good stuff, to the point where now she is speaking like this. You could tell she developed a speech impediment from the trauma that happened. So she does the interview for the book, and in the next scene we are introduced to a psychic medium, we can call her, named Sky. She is doing a session with a guy named Johnny. She is currently communicating with his mother. Now in this scene, you could tell by like the friend Jessica's face and everyone's face, they're kind of like smirking and just looking real suspicious. And that all makes sense, because at the end of the reading she says, "Hold on, your mother has one more message for you, but the door is closing. Just give me a second," doing all the theatrics. And she's like, "Your mother wants you to wire money to the Kids for Kids Foundation and to not question her." So of course the guy's in a vulnerable state, being thinking he's talking to his mother. So he's like, "Okay, no problem. I'll wire the money right now." And so from there we can tell that they have a whole scheme going on where they fraud people out their money, thinking that they are getting psychic services. Now in this moment, I'm immediately thinking, oh, so she's a fake psychic. Like, she has to be fake, because who would do that? But then again, I have to remember there are people with real gifts out there that do some real fraudulent stuff because they know they have the gift. They know the words and the lingos and all that stuff to kind of take advantage of people. And so then we find out that of course her and her friends and her boyfriend have this whole scheme where they fraud people out of their money, and she's specifically doing it so she could help her mother pay bills, and so she could focus on school and pay for school as well. Now her mother doesn't want her to worry about the bills. She's like, "Listen, I'll handle the bills, you focus on school," but yet she accepts the money. So okay. So it seems that Sky may actually have a gift of being able to communicate with the dead, because she was explaining to her boyfriend that during the session she got really scared because the mother came so close to touching her that she could like see her, sense her. Then they do a flashback to a hand reaching out to her. So she got scared because she's like, "I don't want the spirits to touch me because it happened before." So her boyfriend is like, "Well, what happens when they touch you?" Because, you know, he was like, "Girl, snap out of it. We're trying to get to this money." She's like, "They possess you." Keep that in mind. So now Sky's team, specifically her boyfriend, was contacted by Ashley. Now Ashley is the sister-in-law to Emma. Emma was the one who survived the home invasion where her husband was killed. So her dead husband, sister, her sister-in-law, contacted Sky's team to get a reading done because in her head she's thinking, listen, I don't even believe they're real. This will be good press for the book. If you get a session done right in the home, then they pick up on these different energies. For the theatrics, it'll be a good set like advertisement for the book because everyone's going to want to know what happened and where is this information coming from, so they'll buy the book. So she's thinking of it from like a let's just fake it, it's good marketing standpoint. So when Gregory, the boyfriend, tells Sky about this new opportunity, she's pissed because she's like, listen, I just told you that I'm scared. We have to be done with this. I don't want to be possessed again by one of these spirits. I'm not with it. And the boyfriend's like, they just kind of think it's fake anyway, so just do something and we could probably get up to 100,000 out this lady. Like, they stacked. And she's like, no, I told you I was not doing this again. So Sky's upset. She leaves. She goes home. She's walking up the stairs to her apartment, and there's this homeless man there. I'm not sure, was he high or what, but he kept saying, I don't know why the wolves don't get caught. It's because they dress like sheep. Keep that in mind. At first, I didn't know why he was saying it, but I'm like, it's a clear statement. So let me take notes on this just in case it comes back up, and it does. So Sky's upstairs. She's laying down in her bed, listening to her music in her zone, but she can't help but hear coming from the other room. And it was some moaning and groaning going on. Her mama was in the other room selling that cat to pay the bills. So immediately she called Gregory, was like, let's do it. Because she realized I need to get up out this house. I'm not trying to hear my mama sell that thing for a little piece of change. Let's just do this session so we could get this money and go. Also, this is going to sound weird. Maybe this is just me thinking from a business standpoint. When he was talking about how they can make $20,000 from this deal, when Gregory was talking about it, he was like, yeah, that's $5,000 each. I'm like, why are all y'all getting paid $5,000? She's the talent. You're the camera guy. You are the blood pressure girl, because one of her friends takes her blood pressure and monitor her vitals while she in these sessions, and you're just the manager. Like, why are y'all all getting the same amount of money? That's weird. Anywho, in my head I'm like, she should be getting 10, then y'all split the other 10 amongst yourselves, but that's just me. Nothing to do with the movie. So the crew arrives to Emma's home. They're introduced to Ashley, who brings Emma down. She's slowly limping her way down the stairs because she got effed up during this home invasion. Legs all messed up, fingers got cut, scars, beat. She really got messed up during this home invasion. So of course they see her in person, they hear, so they finally get to put a face in person to this story that was just such a tragedy. So they get to meet Emma. They're trying to get everything together to make sure everything's nice and recorded. The camera guy realizes that there isn't any Wi-Fi, it's trouble, so they have to pre-record it and then send it to the people later. Like, they're just trying to get everything in order. So Sky asks Emma for a tour just to take a look around the house so she could get acquainted with the setting and everything. So Emma takes her around. She takes her to Kendall's room first, and she's like, yeah, I really don't touch much in here ever since everything happened. And you could see a poster in Kendall's room that says Angel Energy. So she's telling Sky, like, I've been so paranoid ever since. I have cameras all around this house, bars, bulletproof windows, metals, a whole bunch of locks, and a gun that I don't even know how to use, because she's scared since everything happened. She don't know if they're going to come back. She's not sure what's going to be the next step or the aftermath to this tragic situation, that the people get what they were looking for. Like, she's just, poor little victim, So the session begins. Sky tells Emma, I need you to relax. Remove any thoughts or any things that will take you away from this moment. I need you to breathe. Breathe with me. In and out. I need you to say their names and keep repeating it. So Emma says, Matthew, Kyron, Kendall. Matthew, Kyron, Kendall. Matthew, Kyron, Kendall. You hear footsteps coming from upstairs. Emma's like, that's weird. How'd you do that? Your favorite color is teal. Not just any type of blue, teal. You're a Scorpio and you love to cook for your family. Crawfish, specifically. You will season them so well to the point your fingers burn. Kyron, he had so much energy and will argue with you for him to wear his rain boots on sunny days. Kendall was different. Like her dad, but really girly. She would wear dresses that she hated just for you. She loved Kyron, but she hated that she had to babysit all the time. Could you excuse me for a second? Emma removed herself from the table. Ashley followed behind. I'm guessing she was expecting her to be some fraud where she could just nod along and go with the flow, but she was actually getting kind of creeped out that she knew this information. And Ashley was like, oh, don't worry about it. I told her a few things about you just to give the theatrics and make it look real. And I'm sure she got some of that information from the tour you gave her. There's nothing to worry about. Emma goes back to the table because they're doing this in the dining room. She sits down. And Sky says, may we finish? I would really like to connect now. So Emma's like, what was all that? That was it connecting? Repeat their names again for me again. Matthew, Kyron, Kendall. Matthew, Kyron, Kendall. Sky head drops. Her eyes begin to roll to the back of her head. She's doing all this snapping and jerking, and you can see blood vessels form at the front of her face. Like she's really getting into it. Her blood pressure is skyrocketing. Heart rate is skyrocketing. Everyone's getting scared because they never seen this before, because everyone is expecting for this to be fake. So they're wondering what the heck is going on with Sky, and why is everything just, the chandelier begins to shake, the table begins to shake. Everyone's kind of like, okay, this never happened before. We need to stop. So Sky's just snapping and eyes are rolling. Paul, I need this. You hear me? You said we would see a return within 6 months. It's been 2 years. She's repeating a phone call that happened, I'm assuming, between Emma and Paul, or the husband and Paul, about them not seeing a return on the investment. And then her head snaps again. She begins to sing a song. Emma says, how does she know this song? And then I'm assuming the baby possesses her, because then she says, hi, mommy, what you doing? In the voice of a baby. And then water began to drip out of her mouth, and I'm assuming it was the baby, because the baby got drowned in the tub by one of the home invaders. So the team is still going at it. They want her to stop because they feel like she's basically about to die, because they do not know what's going on. So while they're arguing, Sky is still being snapped, crackled, and popping, eyes rolling, blood vessels showing in the front of her face. Now, mind you, y'all, I'm sure, I know this is a movie, but you guys know I like to bring stuff to real life. If you ever are getting a reading and they start doing all that, it's time to get out of there. They're putting on a show, okay? You got invited to a play. It never takes all that, okay? It may be like ooh, I'm feeling a chill, or ooh, this and that. They may acknowledge the feeling, but if they are getting possessed like that, we good on that, you know? So Sky is just being possessed. She's getting all these visions. She's being drugged, thrown through there. Like, she is just having a time. So Emma gets scared. So she immediately gets up to go to her security system, and she locks all the doors from the inside so no one could leave. So immediately in this moment, I'm thinking, oh shoot, we about to get real messages. She's about to really be able to communicate with her kids. She's getting paranoid because she doesn't want no one to leave her hanging, because she really wants to get all this information. That's what I'm thinking, right? But Gregory walks over to Emma and says, listen, you need to unlock these doors. We need to get out of here. Bang! Emma shoots Gregory in the chest, and she calmly walks back over to the table. Emma sits back down and says, go ahead. Tell your friends why they can't leave. So Sky's like, because she's the one that killed her family. I was like, huh? And then they do flashbacks of Emma going into each room, killing her kids, drowning the baby, killing the husband. And she even went to the kitchen to whoop her own ass, like beating her head against the counter. She's the one that cut her own finger. She was taking shots and had towels in her mouth so she wouldn't scream. Like, she beat her own behind to make this home invasion look real. So all that time with these people coming in, robbing and all that stuff to steal everything, no. It was her. She used that as a cover-up. I'm assuming for some life insurance or something, or maybe to get some press about a book where she could keep making money because she didn't see a return on the investment that Sky was channeling earlier. I'm not sure of the actual reason why, but we find out later that she had a fear of going back to the hood, but we'll get there when we get there. Emma is the one that killed her family. So everyone is freaking out, especially the sister-in-law, because she's finding out that her sister-in-law is the one that killed her brother. So she's screaming, she's confused. Emma shoots and kills her too. And remember, this is the gun that she swore she didn't know how to use. And so for the last bullet for Ashley, she tells her, I need you to tell my family I said hello. bang. So from this moment, the movie begins to take a scary turn. Everyone's running all over the house, trying to run away from Emma because she's on a mission to kill every single one of them. Of course, if she killed her kids, she ain't got no problem killing them, right? So they're running around, chasing the whole movie scene where everyone's trying to figure out where to go. Then you get frustrated with them because they're making too much noise, they're doing too much talking, all that good stuff. Gregory, the boyfriend, dies, which I'm kind of confused of how he lasted so long with being shot in the chest. The camera guy dies. The friend Jessica, she gets beat up and then stabbed in the chest. She dies. So now it's just Emma and Sky left. So they have a full-on battle and Emma is able to kill her. But right after she does the final shot, remember those blood vessels that was popping out of her face and the scars that were popping out of her face in the beginning where she was channeling the spirits? That popped up on her face again after she shot Emma. So now we're at the ending and we're back to the interview scene, but not with Emma, with Sky. And the interviewer is like, I cannot believe just 2 years ago, Emma was sitting right here lying to all of us. That's crazy. And Sky looks at the camera and says, isn't it? Very eerie the way she said it. So it makes you think, is that Sky talking? Because that's not the tone in which like she speaks. Like that's not her tone. So this is where the ending explain comes into play. And everyone has a theory on it. So here's mine. I have 2 different ones and y'all let me know which one you think down below. First thought is, I know that Sky was afraid of a spirit touching her because she felt like she would get possessed. And with her team never seeing her reacting that way during a session before, I'm assuming she got possessed in the session. This is my first theory. I'm leaning more towards my second one. So I'm thinking maybe one of the kids jumped into her body. That's why she was able to sing the song. And she even was reading text messages from her daughter Kendall and somebody else. And in the film, while they were running around the house, Sky and her friend Jessica went to Emma's, I'm about to call her Monique, Emma's closet to put on her clothes. And she stated earlier how one of her daughters liked to dress up like her. So I'm assuming maybe that was the daughter all along trying to get vengeance. So maybe the daughter was able to touch her. And then during the tour, the only room they went to was the daughter Kendall. So I'm thinking maybe with her being in that room, was it symbolic for the angel energy shirt poster to be there. And in the beginning where we see Emma interact with her children, the daughter had on a shirt that said killing it. So in my head I'm like, are these little clues to show that the daughter was the one that possessed Sky to get vengeance? And then again I'm thinking, since Emma died on top of Sky because she was like straddling her trying to beat her up, and Emma and Sky was able to shoot Emma, maybe since immediately when she died they were making skin to skin contact, so maybe Emma possessed Sky. And then that made me think about the homeless man earlier when he said, I wonder why wolves don't get caught. It's because they dress like sheep. And in the beginning you would think like she's just the most phenomenal mother, like she had a wool over everyone's face, and then maybe that's why she didn't get caught, because she just looked like the perfect victim. And then in the beginning of the movie where the home invasion happened, she was cooking, she was singing, it's like a good mood, but the song she was singing was called Shell of a Woman. Shell, something that covers something up. She didn't get caught because she dressed like sheep. And then now maybe she hopped into the shell of Sky and continuing on with the press, and that's still in a way promoting the book, because of course now people want to know, well, what did she make up in her head that happened now that we know the truth? And that eerie feeling and weird look that she gave the camera, maybe it was her saying, yeah, that is crazy. And in the beginning, just thought about this, in the beginning, see now, okay, I'm leaning towards my second theory. I think it was Emma who possessed Sky because of touching. She had a fear of being possessed. And in the beginning where Emma was being interviewed talking about the book, at the end of the interview, the interviewer said, we'll see you again, or we'll have you back soon. She said something of that nature. I think she said, we'll have you back soon. So maybe this is them 2 years later having Emma back. So yeah, I'm leaning more towards my second one now that I said it out loud. It just seems to make sense that Yeah, that's Emma, because the interviewer said we'll have you back soon. The homeless man was saying wolves don't get caught because they dress like sheep. She was putting on a facade the entire time, making it look like she's a perfect victim. Sky was afraid of being possessed because she was afraid of the spirit touching her. Maybe when Emma died, she was able to possess her because they were literally touching, so she came right after her in the spirit world.
I also wanted to add, in the interview, one of the first questions that the interviewer asked was how was she able to get out, and she stated she was able to figure out the security code. I'm like, ain't no way you just randomly guessed it, so it has to be Emma because she already knew the code.
So that is my theory on the ending explained. You guys let me know overall what you thought about the film. I think Monique actually like killed the role. It was so weird seeing her in that type of role and being able to just, I mean, she did phenomenal. She did phenomenal. If they have a sequel, I mean, hey, Lee Daniels, I would love to be the witchy girl that's at the Botanica on the corner where they go get herbs or candles from. I mean, that'll be nice. But that was my recap on the reading. You guys let me know down below what you thought about the film overall. I thought it was going to be more in the spiritual sense where we could really dive into possession, what to do to prepare yourself when you're giving a reading to someone. Well, I guess we could go over it briefly here. So during the reading, like I said before, if someone's doing all those theatrics, go ahead and get up out of there. The reader wants to make sure that they are protecting themselves no matter how they do it, whether it's brick dust, salt, crystals. They'll have their own way to protect themselves once they are tapping into spirit, so their spirit isn't all open and vulnerable to be possessed because they don't know what spirits that they are about to communicate with, or they're good or bad or have bad intentions, so they want to make sure that they protect themselves as well. Being possessed shouldn't be that scary of a fear if you genuinely protect yourself once you're tapping into that energy and doing a session. Also, after a session, the reader needs to close up that portal. If you got cards out, put them cards up. Oh, I got a story about someone. I should film that now. If you are using cards, make sure you put those cards back up. If you are channeling something through a ball, cleanse off that ball with fluoride water that you could get from BlaqueWitchYaya.com. Do whatever you need to do to close up that portal properly so you're not leaving yourself, your loved ones in your home, or wherever you do your shop, whatever you have going on to those spirits. You have to close the door, close the gate. Wrap it up tight in a bow. It's nice to get readings. They can be fun. They can be exciting. But just know, don't get a reading if you're scared of the truth coming out. Like I said in one of my previous videos, the reader, if you're going to a professional, someone who actually cares about what they do, they aren't going to judge you. So yes, they may know what you did last summer, but don't feel like, well, they ain't going to see that. They ain't going to see that. They ain't going to know I did this. I could lie about this. You're just cheating yourself out of a good reading and information that can be presented to you. So just know, expect when you get a reading, the truth will come out. They will be able to tap into your energy. So don't be shy or scared about that, or think I could just get a cute little read. It's no big deal. No, it may be a big deal. It may be some life-changing information shared. Also, when you are getting a reading, as we've seen in the film, Sky asks permission to tap into her energy. If you are ever in a store and someone just rolls up on you and they're like, I see that you tend to overlook people who help you out. I see that you are having trouble. They do not have permission to read you. They probably feeding you bullshit in the first place and just giving you generalized information that everybody can relate to. I see that you overthink. Everybody named mama overthink. So you must grant permission for a reading to be done. Someone should not just walk up to you and just start reading you. You did not give them permission, and they're just taking advantage of your energy. That's why a lot of times when I see these celebrity readings on YouTube, I'm like, that person didn't give you permission to read their energy. So you probably aren't sharing factual information in the first place. You're just taking guesses off the information that you know. But anywho, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. And like I always say, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. Until next time, you guys, I shave, baby. BlaqueWitchYaya.